so many mayors here. We got to get something done. Hey, thank you, Mayor. Thanks for being here. Where's George? It's my understanding that the biggest problem here is we still have like 15,000 people without electric, and many of them have been without electric for about the last 3 days. We also have representatives here from Ben Cardin's office and also from Senator Mikulski's office, both of whom I spoke with on the way up here. So my biggest concern is the power outage. Do you all agree that that's the biggest problem here? Absolutely. Okay. And the biggest impediment to that power restoration seems to be the blockages of the roads so that the crews can get up and get on these things. And so Joe's mapping the county and identifying the blockages. And my other concern, I know we had the county manager here and we had the head of social services. Yes. We got big phone banks that are available from other parts of the state. I know that there are a lot of phone lines down as well, and a lot of people's cell phones have run out by now too. But I'm very concerned about the seniors, especially those that are living alone. I mean, we can identify the congregate living and the assisted living sites, and all of those are pretty easy to identify. But what I'd like to be able to do is to reach out by phone, by social media, by any means necessary to narrow down that list of seniors that we need to check on, some of whom no doubt ran out of their medications probably before the storm hit. Maybe some of them are without food.
And we are setting up a line, an assistance line as we speak.
Great.
To be able to call in, and that'll be advertised when that's live.
Good. Get Joe that assistance line as soon as you can, so as our people are on the get feedback on social media, and we're narrowing down that list. If we have people that need the help, we can make sure we get somebody out there. And then I do believe that we're going to be sending guard out possibly.
We're already deployed.
To doing wellness checks.
With that, we're going to be sending guard out to do wellness checks, as well as we have a search and rescue task force from Central Maryland region that's already en route now, and they'll be supplementing the guard, so that once we identify those areas that really that haven't had any attention, we're going to start moving some people into that area to check on people, and if they need to be moved, then to arrange that for the shelter.
And the shelter is ready to go. We just need those folks.
Governor,
yes, sir.
Dwayne Yoder with Community Action, and we're also the Area Agency on Aging. But just in terms of the elderly, because that's a concern also. Beginning yesterday, last evening, and continuing today, we're contacting or making direct contact with about 300 of the most severe, most isolated, and
you know who they are?
Yes, we do. We have it,
right.
And we can't get telephone contact with all of them. But there's an assessment here that includes an assessment of their condition, which in many parts talks about accessibility and whether you can get in, given the snow, which, I mean, getting rid of the snow has been a really big problem. But by the end of today, we'll have an assessment, aggregated assessment for all those households. And it deals with food, it deals with property damage, it deals with medical, and it deals with heat, home heating. So we'll have a full assessment on each of those individuals by the end of the day.
And you know who those 300 are?
We do.
Great.
The Health Department, in addition to Community Action, has given the Maryland Office on Aging, by the way, Andrew Ross, I believe it was, in terms of 800 individuals who are a part of what they call the AIRS program. And I think the Maryland Office on Aging is making contact with those as well. And that's in process today. But I think the big issue for us is going to be an assessment of their current condition and how easy it is to get in there if there is a need to get in there for some reason.
We're in touch with the aging, and as they identify those people by reaching out to them by phone, they're going to...
That's essentially us, and so that's what's happening.
The Garrett County Department of Social Services is doing that also.
Okay. You guys coordinated and do conflicting?
Yes.
Joe, is there anything I left off before we open it up and go around?
I think one of the other areas that's of concern is communications from the sheriff. We're concerned about the 911 and communications. So there are a couple of towers that they're concerned about the fuel So we're working with the National Guard and with the Garrett County people to kind of see what we can do to check on those fuels. Apparently they're pretty high up and it's difficult to get to them. So we're trying to work through that at the same time today to kind of make sure we can keep that communication.
What are they, cell towers?
It's the 911, yeah, the big towers, the cell tower, yes. Cell and 911 communications.
And the fuel source as well?
It's propane as a backup. When the electricity's out, we use propane as backup fuel for the generators.
But the backup fuel is way up there.
Well, yeah, it's way up the mountain, and we're not sure right now as to the status of the fuel supply. So before it runs out, they want to check and see if we need additional fuel in those things or to change out the battery backups.
Okay. Anything else?
No, sir.
Okay. Any cooperation you need that you're not getting?
No, sir.
Why don't we go around? No particular order. Mayor, concerns?
I think, I mean, you outlined the concerns. It's getting electric back on, so people have heat, clearing roads, getting rid of the electric lines that are entangled in the trees, which has been a problem. You don't want your roads crews messing in trees that have electric lines in it. But I understand that Allegheny Power is going to start putting some folks in some of the roads trucks so that they can determine, is it a hot line, is it a cold line, can it be teared, whatever, can it be moved, can it not be moved, so.
And our goal is really to help the utility people by pairing them up with one or two people with chainsaws so that as they come across, because what we're hearing is they can't get the power restored because they can't get the roads clear, but they can't get the roads clear because the power lines are cut. So the goal is that when we send these people out, we send them out as a self-contained unit that if they come across a down power line, people take it out of the way and then the guys can fix the line.
There has to be a...
The Mountain Lake Park, we're lucky. We have all the streets open. Most people have electric now, but the big concern we have is cleanup. I've estimated it's probably going to cost us $100,000 to clean it up. And
What, the fallen tree?
Yeah, and you and I have talked in the past. We don't have much highway user revenue anymore.
You don't have much revenue anymore, period. What do you got there?
Same concerns. I mean, our power outages, probably 80% of our town is still without power. They're coming back on sporadically. Like Leah alluded to, our streets are open. We actually have one block, but all the houses can be accessed by emergency vehicles if need be. We have neighbors going around and myself going around checking the elderly people and make sure everybody's okay. Things will be fine there. Just the power is the biggest concern at this point. Fortunately, it's been decent temperatures, so it's not been below freezing for a long period of time, so that's a good thing. But the power is the biggest concern. But we're making headway on that.
Mayor, any other mayors there?
My greatest concern right now, too, is cleanup. I just recently, about a month ago, had to have a tree company come in and cut down 2 trees and trim 3 trees that were town trees that were damaged. It cost me $3,500, and I can't even imagine what this bill will do to clean it up. And with the Maryland roadside tree law, we're not supposed to have anyone take care of these trees without them being certified by DNR. And we don't have access to anybody local, really, anymore to do that. And with the 5 towns sharing a chipper, there's no way that we can get this mess cleaned up. So we need help with getting this cleaned up. We do still have a couple of trees that are blocking the road, and there are wires and lines in there.
You get DNR to help you clean up.
Friendsville, we have 5 inches of snow, but we have no electricity. Our problem is we have 65% of our population is senior citizens. So we have the fire department opened up. People are down there preparing meals for them. The auxiliary, they're staying there. We got the folks on the friendship type department staying there. We have very few generators. Local restaurants open right now. But it's just trying to get the electricity back on for everybody. The hillsides is what the problem as we're trying to take down some trees. Other trees are uprooting and snapping and bringing down more power lines. It's happened now we're in 2019. People really know big power lines down. So for safety of the people that are out, we're asking them to be careful as well. Everybody's pulling together, but it's going to be.
What's the apartment for?
Friendship apartments.
How many people?
There's 26 units of elderly people.
And Can it take a generator if it has a generator? It's wired to a set point?
We're trying to, the gentleman owns this in the best area, so we're trying to get in contact with him to get him up there.
Joe, I believe the city's sending some generators our way.
Yes, sir, they are. I'll work into that with them.
I mean, since Spence just said that, there's also an elderly project development in Oakland, Underwood, 32 residents. They've been without power for almost the entire time. It was up a little bit yesterday, but they're out again today, and it would be a duplicate of what Spence just
Could
talked
I get
about.
the address offline when we're
Yeah,
done?
yeah.
And we have one of those residents right behind us that's been in the shelter
So
with us.
not, was a big concern, they're very concerned now.
Yeah, Craig?
I know there's another nursing facility in Oakland too, but they have open beds to take some of those elderly and care for them. It's ONRC right down the street.
We'll coordinate all of
Do you have a
that.
spreadsheet of the senior places?
Yes.
Checking on status on all of them?
The Sheriff's Department and Maryland State Police have been doing well checks. We got a list from MEMA last night of the senior housing, and the Sheriff's Department checked all those last night.
It's the small
Gave you
ones,
the status.
the assisted,
The ones
whatever they
that
call them, the
Wayne was
ERSs.
talking about, and there.
It's the S4 site.
Second.
Aging and elderly, what is that name? ERS. Like a walking.
I'm not sure.
Back.
I think you have Grantsville, yeah, and you have accidents.
Well, we're maybe in a little better shape than a lot of, half our town's still on power, half's out. The problem we have is our water and sewer plants are outside of town on opposite ends. They're both out of power. We're running on generator backup. Our town employees are fantastic. They've really done a great job keeping things going. Our streets are open. I think for the most part, we're doing okay. I saw the National Guard out in town last night going door to door. We appreciate that. They're helping out. Our town does real well helping each other, neighbors helping neighbors, so our generators going. I work for the school system too. I saw the National Guard clearing out more of the high school parking lots, so we appreciate that. But we have, the other problem we have with the electric, we get a few on and then a few more go off. So we haven't been able to really gain much, because a couple we get on and a couple more come off, and our whole surrounding part of town is out. But town proper is about half, so maybe 60% operation.
Where are your water plants?
Our water plant is on Negro Mountain, and our sewer plant's down right at the Chipmunk Park at the Castleman Bridge. And one runs on propane, the other runs on diesel. We were able to order that yesterday. We had some local people, we had to make a lot of phone calls. We had some people kind of prioritize. We appreciate the reliable way to make sure that we can keep that operation.
Are they backed up?
No, they're working. They're on generator backup right now. They have not lost service. They're still.
Yeah, because Jim, I thought that none of the water and wastewater treatment plants were out. Am I wrong in that?
Well, I mean, they're on generators at
Okay.
this point, so I mean, they're still operational, is our understanding.
But they're fragile and dependent.
Well, because as you know, generators have been one of our biggest problems. I mean, generators have gone out on us that were functioning, and that became our first problem with the nursing home. They fired their generator up that filled the building full of smoke. They had to evacuate the building and bring the people over here. So that was some of the problems, and that's the same problems that we're having with our 911 system, is our generators are failing sometimes.
Right, especially when they're pumping for a long period of time.
We're at the State's Emergency Operations Center. We're holding daily calls, and we do have representatives from the utilities in the Operations Center, and we're doing daily phone calls with the utilities to kind of keep track of that. So whatever issues you guys have, if you want to give it to me after this, then I'll reach back to the State's Emergency Operations Center. And,
Yeah, we should prioritize the water wastewater plants and then the senior.
Paul, I had a call last night actually, on Starner Hill. That's an elderly project owned by Catholic Charities. And they said they were, the call was from Potomac Edison, and they said they were without power as well. Do you know what that is?
Starner Hill?
Starner Hill, yeah.
They must have been on a generator. When I drove by last night, they were lights on there.
Well, John Emmerich, the one who.
That section of town's out though.
Yeah. Well, I know our senior center there, it's out as well.
Yeah.
But I didn't know about what their situation was.
All right, accident?
Yeah.
Mayor?
We have some of the same concerns because the whole town's out of power and the surrounding community. We do have a backup generator for our water well. But down at the plant, I think they have a generator like for the UV lights, but not to run, not the whole plant. We don't have one to run the whole plant.
We need to figure out what size generators these places require.
So we might need something for that for the plant. But we do have one for the water.
Mr. Chairman, any other mayor?
That's all. Kitzmiller's the only one I don't believe is represented, and we will check on the situation with Kitzmiller as soon as we get back to the office.
Jim, what's your perspective here?
I think that we're in really good shape now. We have the people here that we need in place. I think we have a good command structure in place now. I'm feeling very good today. I was very nervous, as you know, yesterday when I talked with you, and mainly because of we want to get through this thing with minimal damage to property, and we certainly want to get through this thing with no lives lost, and that's what our goal is, and I know that's what your goal and your administration as well.
And Chris, note to Chris Yule, note to John Griffin, figure out some sort of long-term plan for how we keep DNR assets up here to help the mayor remove some of these trees. Thank you. Yeah. What else? Any other commissioners? Gregor?
No, I think Commissioner Rayleigh summed it up fairly well. Thank you. I appreciate you coming up and appreciate the state's leadership and all the assets that you're bringing to bear for us.
Like I told you yesterday, my whole state's now Garrett County. So we have General Hintz who's here as well, I think, from your Maryland Army Guard. And so yeah, we will do whatever it takes to get y'all back up on your feet. I had reason to hope that they did a flyover last night of some of the main transmission lines. They got a helicopter up for at least long enough to see where the main breaks were in that transmission line. And as you all probably know, it goes like transmission lines, substations, and then the feeders. Once you get to the feeders, you're down to a lot of onesies and twosies. But I'm hopeful, after talking to the First Energy people last night, that once they get that second break on that transmission line repaired, that may well power up half of the 15,000 people that are still without. I say people, it's probably more like households, customers. So, anything else? Anything else you need by way of support or map or IT or GIS or any of that sort of thing?
No, sir, we've got a lot.
Speaking of GIS, since we just went there, Garrett County they did have GIS capabilities at the ready. I'm actually a disabled combat veteran. I've been here a year.
Thanks for your service.
Thank you. I don't hear it much around here, unfortunately. I have doors slammed in my face in the field of GIS. MEMA has been phenomenal with their GIS capabilities. Garrett County has continually failed to upgrade these systems. We had FEMA grant money, a $35,000 grant standing at the ready. It was denied because they did not feel the need about 2 weeks ago. I'm extremely upset. This is my skill set. This is what I do. And I felt like if I had had the opportunity to complete that work, this would not have been such an issue. The GIS capabilities and the data that they already have would have told us where every elderly house was. I've been using the system in my house and taking a chainsaw out. I'm sorry, excuse me. And some friends have been literally rough marching out driveways to get this food out. And these people weren't prepared for this. They weren't ready for it. It was not taken as seriously as it should have. These storms, I'm sure you've seen through the National Weather Administration, through some of the other organizations, this was not a typical storm, yet it was treated like one in Garrett County. The snowfall was predicted, it was foreseen. And we had a blizzard warning out, and unfortunately the politics got in the way of notifying people. There's still people that didn't even know that you declared a state of emergency, that the storm was upon them, and now they're stranded. This is a huge rural county. Yes, we have a lot of towns. We have a lot of people who live in those towns. So getting the power back on the towns, which should have been, was great that was priority number one, but the situational awareness was just not there. And the people were suffering because of that.
Well, this might be an opportunity to up our game, especially on GIS, because that IMAP should be accessible to you all and should just be able to source it.
Well, the system that we was working on, and I did have some support from some of the people within the county government, and had a lot of resistance from others. But this system was going to buy new computers for every rescue squad, fire department, and police station, and integrate an online mapping, or not an online mapping system, They were independent. So even if the lights went out and they fired up generators, they could still effectively use their mapping tools to plan accordingly and to get out there and actually do something.
I love GIS, guys.
It's amazing. It's amazing
I love
technology that
GIS.
is
It's
not.
great technology.
Yes, it is amazing. It can make such a big difference.
Governor O'Malley, could you
always
indulge me for a minute?
Sure.
I have a prepared statement on behalf of the citizens of Garrett County. I just want to thank you for your confidence in us when you referred to us as hardy people on CNN the other evening when asked about the storm coming to Garrett County. You know, Hurricane Sandy has indeed tested our strength and has shown us that sometimes we need to count on others for that extra stamina. And the assets that you and the other counties have deployed to Garrett County and the genuine concern of your administration is gratifying as we continue to dig out from this storm. A big thank you goes out to First Energy for being here for our citizens and to all the out-of-state utility companies who are now on the ground here in the area, and we know there are hundreds of those right now, and we can get them out there. We do want to emerge from this stronger, and I want to thank the residents for their patience and the many who have checked on neighbors and friends as well as the first responders and the fire and rescue personnel who have braved the storm to keep our citizens safe. This truly is an all-out neighbor helping neighbor effort that has no geographic boundaries. Our staffs work tirelessly to make sure everything positive is being done and everything possible is being done to protect the citizens whom they serve. We have a lot of work to do here in the county to get us back to normal, and today should provide the citizens with some assurance that in partnership we shall overcome. Governor, I want to thank you again on behalf of the citizens because I know that you care, I know that you're concerned, I know that both of our U.S. senators have contacted us and offered any assistance that they could. And I just want us to say that please, everyone, be safe out there, stay out of harm's way, and we'll get the situation taken care of. Thank you very much.
Jim, thank you. So we've got a lot of work to do. And everybody take notes for the after action. We'll up our game and become stronger for the next one because these sorts of storms are going to keep coming. George, anything did you, Senator, or delegates want to add?
I just want to thank you for coming, showing your concern about the county and its residents. And the commissioner said that we are a community, a united community. We do work well together, the county with the municipality. Emergency management does a great job. I've been in contact with Tony Gedison, First Energy, keeping me up to date on what's going on there. Just two quick comments. America Corley talked about working with DNR to cut trees. You know, we need to get through this red tape. They need to take action now. We've got 297,000 acres of trees in this county. Cutting a couple, going through the red tape when they need it. We should tell DNR, you know, if they got experts to cut them, let them take care of this problem right now without going through all that bureaucratic red tape to get it done. I don't think it's going to impact a whole lot of anything. I thought I turned this off. Oh, yeah. I'll turn off.
It's a secretary of DNR.
We get along real well. The other thing is, you had similar concerns down east. We have the same thing here with people stranded with medicines and so forth and so on. The bigger concern here is temperature. It's cold here tonight, especially this time. We still get, as you can see, the flurries coming, so it keeps adding up. More trees broke down last night, even when a lot of it melted. Built back up, broke down. So temperature is a big factor here,
What's
particularly when you're looking
temperature
at elderly. It was under freezing last night.
About 30.
And it's predicted to be that way, I think, the next couple of days, warm in the high 30s and then go down to below freezing in the night.
And we're still having some winds, too.
Yeah,
so
we appreciate everything you're doing. People are out and working. We appreciate sending the guard up and your staff people here. That's great. We want to work with you, mayors, commissioners, Wendell and I, and everybody else to get this community up and running, which they will, and they'll be in better shape for it when it's done. So thank you.
Thank you, Senator.
Thank you so much, Governor. You've been very responsive. Your people have been very responsive, and just the fact that you're here is very comforting. You know, mountain people, mountain Maryland are really self-reliant people, and you can see with the mayors and the agencies and how everybody pulls together to get through these things. And we've dealt with this before, but really in this storm, it kind of goes beyond about anything I've seen, and I've been here most of my life as far as the road closures, the power outages, it's going to take a while before these power lines are restored. And my neighbors and I went together the last 2 days, me with a chainsaw, opened up about a mile and a half of county road, or I wouldn't even be out here this morning myself. And so people are out there helping themselves, and we tend to do that. But as you pointed out, there are many people that depend on us, and especially the elderly. And so it's comforting to know that we now have people contacting them, trying to get in touch with them, let them know people are trapped out there in the rural areas of the county, and it will take a while to get those roads open and service restored, and we really appreciate the fact that we're out here and we need help, and you're providing it.
As of this morning, there were still 15,700 people out of about 20,000 customers. So we're running 70 to 80% power outage. Obviously, that's a major concern, but we probably have 100 crews in the county right now. We're going to get an update. The president of First Energy is to be in the county today, and we're going to get an update later on. There are some areas where if they could get into those lines and get those transmission lines fixed, that they could make major improvements in very short times to large pockets of people. Our remote areas are our biggest problem at this point that we're still dealing with. Many tree crews as well in the county, as well as National Guard troops. I think that we're going to be able to get into a lot of remote areas today, and if not today, tomorrow. The other issue are the roads. Many roads might be open by one lane. We're encouraging people to, if possible, to stay off the roads, especially today during the cleanup efforts. We really believe that if we have today, we will make major progress on cleaning up the roads. Yesterday, there were potentially 70% of our secondary roads that were still blocked with trees, or at least only one lane because of trees laying along the side. So we're encouraging people at all possibilities to stay home if you can and give us the opportunity to get cleaned up today.